To Gay Pride Sunday, where we believe that there is a power for good in the universe. We can use it. And as my assistant minister in San Diego used to say, and we have passed out cards here at Interfaith, and we're out of them, and I just don't know how to do it on this latest computer. Should have talked to RJ. I am the experience God is having, and it is a gay one. I am the experience God is having, it is a straight one. I am the experience God is having, and it is a female one. I am the experience God is having, and it is a male one. We can go on and on and on. Our God is a God of energy, everywhere present, and it emits from that heart chamber within each of us. This morning we're talking about the power of blessing, and it was so beautiful to hear from our beautiful Robert Roy Conklin and his experience of his music. And I was sharing with Wednesday Night Live that one day, it was in the evening, and I saw a very darling young man walking down the street, and a bunch of carload of guys that were rounding the corner onto Hermosa from Vistachino. And they saw the young man, and they yelled out, "Faggot!" And I just froze. And I thought, oh my God, if there be any prejudice within me on any subject in the universe, let it be dissolved now so I never have to bear witness to what I just bore witness to this moment. And at that moment, the bagpipes played within the whole neighborhood, Amazing Grace, and I thought it was just for me. I didn't know there was really anyone playing the bagpipes. I thought it was for me, it was the universe affirming that everything in our life, as we look at the blessing of life, and to bless young people who look out and they only see differences and not similarities, to absolutely bless those that curse you and say all manner of evil against you for his name's sake, as Jesus said, to bless those, and to bless the young man, and to bless everyone in the energy field. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. I once was blind, but now I see. I once was what? Lost, but now I'm found. And so I was sharing it at Wednesday Night Live, what had happened, and how stunned I was, but yet I wrapped the whole situation in a blessing. Once was blind, but now I see. And as I'm sharing this experience at Wednesday Night Live, Spirit, Mind, and Body Connection, a young man, young to me, said, that was me playing the bagpipes. You must live, in that area of Hermosa, Coletta Way. That was me. And I said, I was so deeply moved that here I had manifested someone in my service who is actually the bagpipe player playing Amazing Grace, which is just one of my very favorite songs in the universe, especially when we think about Sir John Newton, who in his young years was out there being a slave trader on the high seas. And then he had his moment of reckoning where that seagull landed on the boat and he was the lone survivor. And he just said, and he was an atheist, and he said, "Dear God, save me." And a seagull flew to the boat. That was his meal, and took him to shore. And he did not become John Newton. He became the Reverend John Newton. Then he was knighted. And then he was one of the greatest advocates to free all men and women created equal in the sight of God through his own experience of being a slave trader. So when we look at life and the amazing synchronicities that occur, as we look at what we witness in life, and that we can stand blessing those that put out the energy, forgive them, Father, they know not what they do, and those that are the recipient to see their heart cleared. And today in the Unity International Daily Word, forgiveness. Forgive them, Father, they know not what they do. So when we look at the power of blessing, we live in the most beautiful community. I look unto the mountains from whence cometh my strength. I just look out and I feel so blessed every single day. It's never ho-hum for me. I feel so blessed to be here. And I have people say, well, how do you, and I even have fellow ministers say, how do you retain your enthusiasm after doing this for almost 40 years? And I said, because I never take any day for granted. This is a brand new day. Thank you, God. I took my first conscious breath. I am so grateful. Gratitude is the brightest beam to heaven. Gratitude. So when we are grateful, and we are grateful for all of it, and someone say, well, how can I be grateful for all of that? You know, all of the negative things in my life that show up. Well, those are the negative things that show up that say, knock, knock. Who's there? A lesson. Oh, lesson who? Right now, right here, and right now. And we call in those lessons so we can learn, grow, unfold, and expand in amazing ways. Someone put on Facebook a little 2-year-old boy named Cooper. Cooper was born deaf. They did one of those implants in his ear, and at 2 years old, it showed the video of him hearing his mother's voice for the first time. And he was kind of like this, and he was, in his little high chair. And then she said, Cooper. He looked up. She said, Cooper. He looked up, and he giggled. He heard his name for the first time. I'm like weeping. I have to share it on my page. And so many people said, oh, this just made me weep. We take so much for granted. How many of us bless our hearing, our sight, our taste, the energy that we are walking and using our limbs. That old wonderful Arabic quote about, I felt bad because I had no shoes until I saw a man who had no feet. So here is this little boy hearing his name for the first time. As we open the space, the power of blessing to bless the name, that energy of who and what we are, that we are here by right of consciousness. Each and every one of us has a destiny to fulfill. We hear our name. We follow that energy. We bless the rainbow connection, as Fleet shared so beautifully this morning in all of his glorious talent. That rainbow connection. When the rainbow appears, I will remember the everlasting covenant between me and all living beings. That there is a oneness. There is an energy that brought us together. Thank God that we have differences. It would be so boring. And when we walk down the street, to bless each person that passes us. My little grandson and I, we were crossing the street from Lulu's. And there was a man that stepped off the sidewalk, and a truck rounded and hit him. And he went flying. And I just stood there and blessed him. And a woman called 911. And I said, let's just get our hands together. Let's send a blessing, knowing that he is perfect, complete, and whole. And the woman said, don't get up. I've got your back. And stayed with him on the street until the ambulance came on Palm Canyon. And the ambulance came, and he did, he was able to get up, but he got on the stretcher. And we just did this blessing and this prayer, knowing that there is a power for good in the universe greater than we are, and we can use it, and we are using it right now, at this moment, for this being that just had this amazing experience that got his attention. Because the universe gets our attention in amazing ways. And it's not bad or good. It's experience. What is it that we need to learn, to grow, and to unfold? There are so many blessings in disguise. And someone said, well, I'm really tired of my blessings being in disguise. I want a blessing that's just open and there for me, please. I'm ready for that. But when we're ready for that, those blessings, they come in amazing ways. They come through each other in that embrace as we bless each other and we say namaste. We feel that energy here at Interfaith Spiritual Center Worldwide. We feel that we are a community. We acknowledge today that we may be intimate because of the Gay Pride Parade, but we're sending out an energy that's going to reach the entire planet from our community. And I'm told from the City Council of Palm Springs that I'm their favorite invocator. And when I go to do the invocation for the Palm Springs City Council meeting, I acknowledge our oneness. I acknowledge the glory of Palm Springs, that we all love our community. The Coachella Valley Coachella means hand of God, that we extend the hand of God one to the other. And that as we bless each other, as we walk down the street blessing each other, when I make left-hand turns and people are coming this way, I just give them a silent blessing. And what is so wonderful about that, this sudden ray of light or the goodness in their life, we may never bear witness to that, but the good things we do are born of God, and that influence lives on forever. I read a wonderful post about a father who thanked everyone who didn't buy popcorn from his little 6-year-old Cub Scout son. And every time he said, "You want some popcorn? You know, it's going to help our, our Cub Scout troop." And some people said, "Oh, honey, I'm just so sorry. I just don't have money right now." And then somebody else, he got a lot of no's, but he got a lot of yeses. "I was a Cub Scout, and I want to help your troop, and here you go," and gave a donation and bought some popcorn. And it was so interesting because on the way home, he said, his son said, "Dad, I got a lot of no's. When I was selling popcorn for the troop, a lot of people said no. But every time I asked, I was hopeful, and then someone would say yes." And he said, "For all of you who said no to my son, I want to thank you and bless you, because he realizes that the world is not always going to say yes and buy his popcorn in whatever form that takes. Thank you that he persisted. You taught him perseverance. You taught him consistency. Thank you very much. And thank you all who did buy popcorn for my little son. It's a blessing, because he knows behind every no, there's a yes." So what we open the space to today, as we acknowledge the power of blessing and blessing each other in our work, blessing each other in our finances, blessing one another in the energy of our relationships, and that as we feel this love in relationships, sometimes we grow apart. So we bless one another in the conscious moving apart, realizing that we have come together to learn what we needed to learn, and then we go our own ways to grow and to unfold. This is just life. So as we bless each other in our health, in our spirituality, in our relationships, in our finances, in our abundance. It was so wonderful. My son-in-law took a video of my daughter's birthday, her opening my gift. And she opened it up and she read the card. And I'm watching this video and I'm going, "Oh, it's just so, yes, it's so moving," I'm watching the video. And then she finishes the card, "Love, Mother." And I had given her money because it's always the right size and the right color. And is it not? Yes. And so the check fell out, and she opened, she goes, "Oh my gosh, I got a check." And Tyler, my little 5-year-old grandson, said, "Are you going to spend it on me?" And she said, "Well, this is Mama's birthday." And in this little video, he went. So then, Larry says, "Mama might share it with you." He runs back over to Mama. You have to give her a hug and a kiss and say happy birthday. And he says, "Are you going to share it with me, Mama?" And she said, "Probably, honey, probably." So I got on the phone and called and said, "Now, Tai, when I send you money, are you going to share it with Mama?" "No!" I said, "You have some work to do here. You have some real work to do." So we're not a 5-year-old mentality. It's not always about us, right? And it is about sharing one with the other. It is about hearing our name for the first time. When we hear our name for the first time, we know we have a destiny to fulfill. We know that we are here by right of consciousness. We know that we have something to do. The Apostle Paul said, "I must preach the gospel. Woe be it unto me if I do not." In other words, we must follow our destiny. We must follow the divine call. Woe be it unto us if we do not, because we will be unhappy in this lifetime. They said, "Well, what is my soul's purpose?" Go within to the secret place of the Most High. turn everything off. Every Monday and Friday, I turn everything off. And really commune with Spirit, because everything is revealed in the space between two notes of music. In the crack between the door where the light filters in, there is our answer. Be still and know that I am God. And when we get that we are fulfilling our destiny, and I just loved it, that Dr. Clarice Barrett did our Gay Pride meditation, and that there were the 2 or 3 gathered together, and that she gave the energy so lovingly. And what I love about that is that we don't hold back and feel discouraged or disappointed, because out of these 2, there are 2 more. And out of those 2 more are 2 more. And as we keep putting it out there in an unconditional way, realizing that God does what God does best by means of us, because there's not another one of us, no 2 fingerprints exactly alike. Isn't that amazing? That we are here to bless and to allow that blessing to unfold in our lives, to hear our name for the very first time, to realize behind every no there is a yes. And in this yes, there is an opening. Yes, it's not easy being green. But you know what? It's better than the alternative, isn't it? It's better than the alternative. And I love that Muppet song that Fleet sang, because energetically, it may not be easy, but it's worth it. And I was watching PBS, and it was about women who were empowered, and it was called The Makers. And so there was, some women that were senators. And she said, they said terrible things about me. But you know what I decided? Don't get elected. Energetically, that makes a shift in the energy where you bless those that curse you and say all manner of evil against you. And you just take that energy, and when the arrows are coming, you absolutely divert them by sending out a blessing. And in this blessing is our life, and in our life is our destiny, and in our destiny is the unfoldment of the Eternal One. I would not be in any other way of life. I love our way of life. I love our community. I love our nation. I think we have a lot of work to do. But when I read on Facebook this morning that Reverend Mark Accomando got married yesterday to Greg, the love of his life, I thought, more power to you. Even if I wasn't asked to perform the ceremony, honey, I'm happy for you, because your success makes mine possible. And when my daughter hugged her little 5-year-old, my grandson, and she hugged him and she goes, be happy for mommy. My success makes yours possible. And I love that. So we keep blessing and letting it unfold to such a high level that we are moved beyond all of the stuff that goes on in the world to a place of peace and a place of love. So I thank you for being here on our Gay Pride Sunday, where we acknowledge our beautiful gay community and one another. And what I know is that we are going where? Higher yet. Where are we going? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet! Yes! Yes! God bless you.